Debi ada ne nsɛm ahodoɔ ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ yɛn man Ghana ma sɛ nti sɛ mbɛtena ase ya ne wɔn sɛ ɛyɛ nsɛm a ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ yɛn man Ghana ma sɛ ɛna bi aba bɛka me nsa ɛna me de bro na ɛnɛ nsɛm a bɛbɛtɔ me na so sisi a ɛne sɛ ɛyɛ vice president ɛyɛ ne speech a ɔkɔma ayɛ ɛwɔ yispa no ɛna busuafo ɛyɛ NDC amanyɔkɔ the gurus in it no aba abɔnten ɛba abɛma ɛyɛ yankasa former president of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, a strict warning say, "Oh, she, and yes, sir, the plans are often na say or they ba catch your mind Ghana or ba dead day, you know, a bishop for one how won't me and find dead day enough." It's say, a Dr. Mahmoud Alhaji Bawumia already know a fan one say, or be make it any step possible. Now waiting me every in the heart of Ghanaians. It's say Ghana for pet. And we know say Ghana how ni nkwa na betimi ato aba amana eye krofo froso ni bia ni ho no so betimi aba beto aba ma o man Ghana ha se ebe enti no eye honorable compare kon Japan sorry Dr. Mahmoud Alhaji Bawumia any Mr. former president Mr. John Dramani Mahama a former president for the Republic of Ghana Sisiano Ignorus man a very strict one is on strategizing in your my year is say Mr. Dr. Mahmoud Alhaji Bawumia no obefa kwan bia so am making sure so be winning the heart of Ghanaians akwa yen say bebre enchen on equity masisia that's
Bawumia films. Let's listen.
Construction is massive, and this has historically placed a huge burden on the budget. I believe that the private sector should finance the construction and maintenance of roads through PPP concession arrangements. Also, the government will move towards leasing rather than purchasing vehicles, printing equipment, and so on. The private sector will have the responsibility for maintaining the vehicles and the equipment. With this approach, government can save very significant outright cash out expenditure annually from various items across different ministries, departments, and agencies. This policy will energize the private sector and create many jobs. Enhancing the role of the private sector along with fiscal and administrative decentralization, improving our systems and the way our institutions function will lead to greater efficiency, cutting waste and ensuring value for money in procurement. Plus, private sector provision of many public services would create the fiscal space of at least 3% of GDP annually. This represents a major paradigm shift. Additionally, an efficient system of governance will require even fewer ministers. I would have, therefore, no more than 50 ministers and deputy ministers. Choice Ghanaians face in 2024 is between Vice President Bawumia and former President Mahama. It is fundamentally a choice between the future and the past. We have to ask ourselves a number of questions in making that choice. If you want someone you can trust to come up with innovative and impactful ideas to transform Ghana, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want someone with personal integrity who can be trusted to fight corruption, then your choice is Dr. Bawumia. I am prepared and ready to work if you give me the opportunity. You know what I stand for. You know my vision. My vision is about your mission. I believe in the ingenuity of the Ghanaian. Together, we can succeed in building a progressive society of possibilities, enterprise, compassion, open opportunities, and a shared prosperity for every Ghanaian, born rich or poor, born from the north, from the south, born Christian or Muslim, a boy or a girl. With your support and prayers and God's guidance, we can win together. It is possible.
As you've heard what Bawumia is saying, Bawumia is saying that the private sector has a role to play when it really comes to the development or the growth of the nation. But whilst everything is being centered to the government, it makes the wings very big. For he urged that the private sector should take greater part or should play a vital role when it comes to the development of the nation in roads, infrastructure. And I really think Bawumia is making sense. The vision of Bawumia is what I think will lead Ghana, will take Ghana to the height of where we want to be. Being like the Eastern countries, being like the Eastern world, I think Bawumia is the right man for the growth of the nation. He went ahead to say a whole lot of things that Ghana needs to do.
In the 7 years of the NPP government, he said until the outbreak of COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war, Ghana's economy was described as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, but it faced challenging times. A situation, he says, is turning corner.
Inflation has declined from 54% in January last year to 23% in December 2023. Economic growth is rebounding, spending is under control, and the fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP has declined from 10.8% in 2020 to 4.2% in 2023. The debt to GDP ratio, after increasing from 61.2% in 2019 to 76.6% in 2021, has declined to 66.4% in 2023. And the exchange rate depreciation has also slowed down sharply since February 2023.
He said his government will leverage on the private sector for infrastructure development.
My administration, thank you, will incentivize the private sector to complement government in the provision of many infrastructure and other services to reduce government expenditure and improve maintenance. The private sector will be encouraged to build roads, schools, hostels, and houses for government to rent or lease to hold.
Dr. Bawumia said the two-term administration of President Akufo-Addo has put in place many social safety nets like the free SHS, free TVET, improved NHIS, and LEAP, and government will now focus on jobs and wealth creation by the private sector for Ghanaians.
Will be a partner in infrastructure development to reduce the fiscal burden on government. He says this will be the golden age of the private sector, where his administration will incentivize the private sector to complement government in the provision of infrastructure to reduce government expenditure and improve maintenance.
The demand for road.
That when it comes to the growth or development of a nation, we don't look at the past, but we look at the future. So he termed himself as the future and stated that his former president, John Dramani Mahama, who he is competing with, is the past. So therefore, we don't need the past, we need the future. People with shallow mind only goes for the past. So he advises that Ghanaians, if Ghanaians really need the growth or the well-being of this nation, then they should go for the future, but not the past. For that statement, he made know that there is no discrimination, no ethics. He doesn't know the rich, the poor, Christian, Muslim, no, together as one nation, together as one people. This is what Baumia is saying. Please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section, whether what he is saying is right or he is wrong. Don't forget, this is Ghana Tip. Stay tuned.